Everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I hope summer is going fantastic for you. We're going to explore another recipe perfect for summer. We are exploring National Chicken Wing Day. So I'm going to go over kind of the pitfalls of chicken wings, how we can make them better, easier in the kitchen. If you have an air fryer, this is an amazing time to incorporate that. And with the same recipe, you can do that. I am Kimberly Knox, and my basis, I'm a functional and integrative health coach, but I've been cooking so long, I've combined the two because I really want to inspire your confidence in the kitchen to take apart recipes. And when you see vegetable oil or canola in a recipe, know that you can substitute those out for something like an avocado oil and what things are so good for your body that it enhances your cellular energy. That's why we're here. We're eating for our cellular energy. That is part of vitality. And we're also integrating all of the science of food. The food is medicine science. The food is information science. And that's what my bioenergetic cooking method utilizes. It taps into the energy of a science of energy and living systems. That's really what bioenergetics is about. And food has that power. So if you want vibrancy, gorgeous skin, bright eyes, and just it's super health in your body, you can pick up some of these tips to reduce your inflammation and enhance your vitality. So the oven just went off. We preheated it to 425 because we're going to bake. I don't have a air fryer. And if you have a convection oven, it's a little bit the same, but I'm going to bake them at a high temperature. Well, we're going to go through the basics here. And first of all, we want to start with chicken wings that are air chilled and organic. What is air chilled? So air chilled is a method that was always very common, especially in Europe. Europe is years ahead of us, by the way, and they don't allow a lot of stuff that's allowed here. So we need to incorporate that. Air chilled means it's not dunked in contaminated water, right? It's not filtered water. So, and we want to make sure that there's no antibiotics ever. We want to make sure that the chickens are happy, they're eating outside, and no hormones, because those hormones are related to cancer risk, increased spot on cancer risk. So at the store, Bell Evans does a premium cut, ultra premium, so you can utilize that. Or you can go to a local farmer that has organic chicken and get some wings and some drumsticks. All right, so summer meat. So the body likes cooler, less heavy meat in the summer because that creates heat in the body. It creates acid in the body. And we also need to be able to digest. So let's break this down, because when my clients are beaming about they need more protein, well, if you don't break down your protein, it's going to do a massive amount of damage in your body. So animal protein gets digested first in the stomach. You need very high stomach acid. That's why the obla types tend to digest the meat much easier, and they crave it a little more than your standard A positive, which is me. So when you're marinating your chicken wings, these have been marinating for 4 hours. I'll tell you what's in the marinade. So that marinade breaks down the fibers of the meat. Now your body's more easily can digest. We need to break it down. It's in the small intestines where we're going to be absorbing those nutrients, right? Iron, B12. We need to have them broken down though first. So what do we marinate them in? A marinade is often an acid base. So this makes sense, right? So this marinade that I made, and I love utilizing even lemongrass, but I'm not doing kind of an island theme here. So I used garlic and ginger, perfect for summer, right? And I use a little mini blender. You've seen me use it many times. It makes your marinade easy. It blends up the flavors a little bit more so they can move around. I did use olive oil in this because I'm just soaking it. We're going to rinse them off and pat them dry before we put them into the oven. So I used a quarter of a cup of olive oil, a quarter of a cup of Bragg's apple cider vinegar. You could also use some lemon. I just used apple cider vinegar in this. 2 to 3 larger garlic cloves, a good amount of ginger. Just I cut the edges off. You don't need a special grinder, and just chop it up because the blades are going to help you, right? And it doesn't need to be perfect for the marinade. A little bit of sea salt and pepper. That's the marinade. Put it in a glass bowl, cover it, put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours, 4 hours better. You don't want it to marinate so much that it's mushy. So this will be perfect, absorbing all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse these off, and we're going to pat dry them over here on the paper towels. Then the oven's already on. So I've lined a big sheet pan, and to get them crispy in your oven when you don't have an air fryer, you need a high temperature, and you want to wrap like this so that the air can flow around. I've lined it with parchment paper so you don't wreck your pan with a bunch of grease and stuff. So we're going to put that on. We're going to brush them with a high temperature avocado oil. You could also use a coconut oil in this case. I'll use avocado oil. That's where you don't want to use those inflammatory oils, which would be the canola, the vegetable oil, sunflower, safflower. The list is long. You only need a few oils in your house. And you also don't want to use a very high quality olive oil. At that temperature, it will oxidize. So save that for your dressings and broth. All right. So look how yummy these look though, right? So I'm going to get these rinsed off, patted dry, get them on the sheet, and we will be right back. And then we're going to make a homemade little bit of a heat dressing to put on these when they're almost done. All right. Don't these look lovely? So that marinade smells amazing too, by the way, garlic and ginger. Love it. I make a lot of my dressings with that. So we're just going to brush on the oil here. This is how we're going to get them nice and crispy. It's I've actually turned the oven up to 450. My this oven is it's not, a commercial one. This is I show you what you can do in an apartment here. So this is a regular electric oven. So I've turned it up to 450, and the oil is going to help get these nice and crispy. We'll flip them after 15 minutes. We'll give them a try. So got a little bit of sea salt on here. Perfecto. And some easy up black pepper. We'll have more later. Okay. So I'm going to get them in. We're going to set the timer for 30 minutes. And then we're going to go about making the, it's going to be kind of mild, but I'll show you what I'm using for a sauce, okay? No ketchup and no prepared sauces with fructose corn syrup and other additives and preservatives. Okay, the chicken wings are in. We got 15 minutes. During that time, you can make yourself some sauce, okay? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to put in it. We're just going to kind of do this intuitively. Fantastic. So we're starting with some real tomato paste. I love this one here, very clean from Italy, and it's in a glass jar. As much as you can get things in a glass jar, perfect. We need less than if you were using a lighter kind of sauce. This is paste, so we need about a quarter cup. I'm going to eyeball it because I do. Once you cook all the time, it just becomes more of a creative project. Okay, get the spoon here. Next up, we're going to get some apple cider vinegar in there. And a quarter cup. We're going to start with a quarter cup here. Ready? I do prefer this brand with the mother, the Bragg's apple cider vinegar. It's not an expensive item, but I like to get the best here. So we don't use Worcestershire sauce or soy sauce. Soy is a product that I really don't trust here in the United States. coconut aminos is a nice alternative for that. Make sure there's no MSG and other. So we want at least 2 tablespoons, which is going to be half of this little cup here. Don't worry if you get a little bit more in. This is a nice savory mix. All the other spices are going to make up, or you can just look and see what's in your favorite Worcestershire sauce, and you can just add from there. So we're putting in some onion powder and garlic powder. Those are kind of standards. Got to get the top off here. A half a teaspoon of each. A nice richness. These are standard in different sauces and spice mixes. I'll make my own jerk mix. I'll make my own fajita mix. It's fun mixing all those things together and then putting them in a little jar to use. Okay. So that was garlic, and we just put in the onion. So cayenne pepper, this one's a super hot one. So this is what I put this into my lemon water first thing in the morning. Now, remember, cayenne pepper is a blood stimulator, does not irritate your gut lining. It actually helps to heal. And in the summer when it's hot, you want heat in your body. You want ginger tea. You want the cayenne pepper. So this one's super hot though, 75,000 on the Scoville heat unit. So yeah, they didn't mess around with this. So I'm not putting in a full 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to put in like an 1/8. There we go. Now, the Korean chili flakes, when I make an adobo sauce for my clients, sometimes we pair this with their fajitas or things like that I make, but I make all their sauces homemade. So we're going to want at least probably a tablespoon of this. So let me just get a larger spoon here. Some chunks in there. Okay. You can always tone it down with a little more honey. We are going to add some honey. So at least a tablespoon. I'm going to eyeball this, but that's about 1. So I'm put in 2. It's fine. And anything else? Well, a little sea salt for good measure here. We can put the pepper on after. And then we're going to get some oil in there. So I still have the oil in here because when we flip the chicken wings, I'm going to brush the back side of them before we put them back in. We want at least a 1/4 cup. Now, no muss, no fuss, no whisk, no bowl. You're going to blend this up. Can you put in fresh garlic? You can if you want. But this is going to make a sauce without any chunks. Can you add some lemon? You can. We're just going to make it like this. I might add a little water to it. So let's give it a shake to get the paste. And I am going to get a little filtered water. I already hear them cooking in there. Sizzling. That's what we want. So this is just a 1/4 cup of water. This will start to make it smell. It's how fun it is to make sauces. So please get one of these. They're like 35 bucks and I use them all the time. I've burnt out probably 2 of them over the last 7 years. It's really good. It could be much hotter. So I'm probably going to add more of this. This is the Korean flakes. And I'm going to add a little bit more of the cayenne. See, so it's up to you. Taste it, give it a little taste. I did put in a little more honey than I was going to. It's good to have a little heat. Get that heat, goes around here, your eyes. You know, your body's heating up. Okay, let's see where we're at. That's really amazing. Okay, I'm loving it. It makes a huge difference to use fresh tomato paste rather than using ketchup or some cheap saucy paste. Now, remember, tomatoes are on the dirty dozen. They need to be organic. The best tomatoes that I've tasted are actually from Italy, the Jovial brand. But so that this here, the Bonaventure, yeah, remember. So try to find that. And they have it on sale, kind of stuck up. This is how gorgeous this is. So we're going to be putting this on after they're baked. So we don't want to put this on to make them sizzly. We'll put it on at the end and put them back in. All right, I'm going to tidy up and we'll be back when we flip those chicken wings. How fun is this? Timer's going off. Let's check these. The smoke's going to come out because they're on high. Woo! Looking good. Let's turn them. Oh my God, you smell that? Okay, so great. I might flip these twice. So let's get these all flipped over. We're gonna put them back in for 15 more minutes. I'm not gonna go too heavy on this. So it's not that oil is bad, it's that when oil oxidizes or the oxidizing, inflamming oils are utilized, that's when it's bad for your cells. But we want to be very careful in the oils that we choose to use. All right, we're putting it back in. Okay, 15 more minutes. We'll be back and we'll be checking them. The sauce is delicious. Thanks for joining me, guys. It is fun here, and I hope I inspire people. You'll be ready for all the football games when you get these done. Okay, these look amazing, right? Turn that fan down just a little bit. So with an air fryer, of course, you don't get this kind of smokiness. So these are looking really, really great. Just give them a little bit of a flip. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some of the sauce on and then leave the rest. You want these really crispy. Obviously, we need them at high temp. So let's get a little bit of the sauce on. I've got another pastry brush here. So we'll just paint a little bit on. And then we can put them in a bowl and toss them around in the sauce. And I've made enough sauce so that it's going to be in the refrigerator. You can even freeze different sauces, but now you have this. Okay, I want them really crispy, so I'm gonna add them back in. The only way to get them not to smoke is you take this rack off and you put down new parchment paper. Anyway, let's get them back in there. Don't they look fantastic? See how quick this is? Hey, we put them back in for 10 minutes. We'll be back. They're looking great. And you guys are creating chicken wings. Now, just remember the most important thing is quality meat. And then that marinade that we marinated, not have to break down those meat fibers. So even if you're not a big meat eater or you have low stomach acid, which a lot of people do over the age of 40, you're going to be able to break down that meat a little bit easier, takes less digestive energy. And those are some of the big tips here. And how easy was that to make your own sauce? And then you can get creative. You can increase the heat if you want with red pepper flakes or different types of chili added in so you can get creative. How fun is that? We'll be right back. Woohoo! Let's get these out. Who's ready for crispy chicken wings with your own homemade sauce? Marinated, amazing. I can't wait to try these because this is the first time I've made them. You know, I love to get creative with you guys. So let's get them into this nice prep bowl. It's really great to have these different prep bowls. And then we'll get a little more sauce on them. We'll get this hot pan out of the way. Don't forget to line that pan with the parchment paper so you don't have such a messy cleanup. Wow. Looking good. A nice mixture of drumsticks and wings. So look for your local farmers because they've got chickens that have been humanely raised and they're super happy, right? So I've already poured some of the extra sauce in a jar. It's great to have these jars around. I use jars all the time for everything and meal prep containers for my clients. Everything is glass, no plastic. We have plenty of plastics getting into our body. We need to try to mitigate. Just going to add this around. Of course, you can add as much as you want. Just enough to get your fingers all messy. That's what's fun about chicken wings. This is a perfect little dish to put them in. So we'll just get them into this. We're dressing these up. You are already ready. Get ready for it. Football starting. It's going to be starting at the end of next month, right? Your college and your regular football. So here we go. We're celebrating National Chicken Wing Day, which happens to be July 29th. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to KK's Fit Kitchen, where you're getting confident and creative, making high energy food that's amazing for your body. Bye, guys.